What's up, everybody? Back at it again with another group review with the crew. Perry, Eric in the back. I know his face is dark, can't see shit, but he's there.
I'm here.
So we went to go see the highly anticipated newest zombie film called The Dead Don't Die. It's obviously got a monster stellar cast. I think that's what really got everybody really excited for this movie, was just its stellar cast.
Yeah, the first thing that people see when looking up this film.
Yep, I mean, Bill Murray, Adam Driver,
Tilda
Swinton, Chloe Sevigny,
Selena Gomez,
yeah,
Steve Buscemi, if you haven't said him more.
Donald Glover, monster cast.
Danny Glover.
Sorry.
Donald Glover's Gambino.
Childish Gambino, not Childish Gambino. Yeah, so amazing cast, and so just to go ahead and just cut the bullshit, what did we think about this film, boys?
I guess I'll go first, considering.
Yes.
Okay.
Please do.
I'm very. This was a fucking bizarre movie.
This was such a weird experience for me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still kind of conflicted on even how I feel about this film.
I feel the same way. I know I don't love it. I think I like it. I don't hate it. I don't know. It's weird. It's a little weird.
Yeah, it's...
We can go more
Look,
into it.
let me just go ahead and say this before Perry goes on with his thoughts. If you go into this movie expecting a really well thought out, clever, like Shaun of the Dead type zombie spoof, you are going to hate this movie to fucking death, because this was one of the most self-aware, careless, lifeless films that I've ever seen in terms of parody's sake. This was a really low energy, very cut and dry. Either you're in on the joke and you laugh at it, or you're not in on the joke and you hate it, or you could be in on the joke and just not appreciate what the film's doing, which I understand.
I can understand that.
So, with that being said, Perry, what did you think about the film, man?
I honestly hated this movie. Like, it didn't give me a headache like The Beach Bum, but I think I may hate this film even more than The Beach Bum. I mean, there were things I appreciated about it, like its self-awareness and whatnot, and just how, like, it really just did not care about the audience. It really knew what it wanted to be and went for it, but it didn't have the wit behind it, and that's what you need to make a self-aware zombie flick like this. It felt very lifeless, because it felt like the same 5 jokes being told over and over again, and you think a joke is funny, they'll say it 8 more times in the fucking movie until you just don't find it funny anymore.
Yeah, so I don't hate it as much as Perry, but I can agree that I think this film would have been a lot better if it at least tried to be a little bit more witty and a bit more clever and a little bit more smart with its comedy, because a lot of it, again, it just felt so uncaring. It felt incredibly... To me, this was probably the biggest fuck you movie I've ever seen. And
it's a big fuck you movie for sure.
Yeah,
That's what it felt like anyways.
It's a huge fuck you movie. I feel like this film was intentionally trying to troll people who just love zombie shit, and it was trying to get those kind of people into the theaters just so they can walk out hating that they even paid a ticket to go see it. Because it's just like, it's so aware that it's the billionth attempt at making a zombie comedy, and it just really didn't try a lot or very hard to give us anything refreshing, besides the fact that it just really doesn't give a shit, and it's really, really dumb and really stupid.
That's the joke, honestly, though.
Yeah, like, that's part of the joke. And here's the thing, like, I know that this film set out to do exactly what it wanted to do.
That's
like
the impression I got too.
Like, from start to finish, this film knew what it wanted to do, and knew how it wanted to end, and knew what it wanted to be. And I'll give the film credit for that. And I will say, this is, even though, like, I don't love this movie, and it's hard for me to really say that I even really like it, but it's kind of unique. Like, I haven't seen a film like this. It's really weird and stupid, and I haven't seen a film this insanely careless and about its content and what it's doing. but I can agree with Perry in the sense that the fact that it didn't have enough wit and enough cleverness within its comedy kind of made it a bit boring at times, and a lot of the jokes were just getting really tired out because it was kind of one note. Like, there were so many times where I'm just like, holy shit, I feel like you guys are really relying on just one kind of shtick, and it got a little bit boring at times for me.
So, see, my take on it is, like, I don't think that because when you see the movie, you're gonna know what we're talking about, the same, like, joke hammered in. I don't think the film, like, thought it was just being, like, clever, and it was just like, haha, we're hilarious. I think the point of it was obviously, like, this is the same, like, one-liner cliche that you've heard a billion times in every movie, just, like, it's so lazily thrown in. So this movie just, like, throws it in your face, so you are self-aware that this is, like, cliche bullshit.
Well, there were certain things it did that I really appreciated, like Adam Driver saying over and over again, this is not going to end well. It's like you always have somebody with that pessimistic outlook who's like, this is all just going to go to shit in all of these disaster films. And I really appreciate that the film made fun of that amongst, some other things. But when you just hit the audience over the head with the hammer over and over again, repeating the same joke, it's like your bag of tricks there. It's like
that was my issue, is that beyond that one joke, it's just like I feel like the entire film was just in on one joke.
Yeah, exactly.
The entire film's in on just one big joke, which is like, this is the billionth zombie movie, and we're just not going to try to do anything different besides the fact that we're going to point out that this is the billionth zombie movie and it's a tired out genre. That's the one big joke of the entire fucking movie. And again, it worked for me, but not all the way. And like, there were some parts in this film that I thought were absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
There was parts in this film where I was just absolutely dying of laughter. Oh, don't worry about this, Barry. I got it. there you go. That's good now. There was parts in this movie, like, I was just, like, dying. There was at least 2 or 3 parts in this movie where I was like, that is absolutely hilarious.
I can think of 3 parts specifically.
There were a couple of parts where I was laughing really hard, too. But it's like, when you're sitting there for an hour and a half and you only have those 2 or 3 really great laughs, you start to question, like, wow, why did I even waste my time with this film?
Yeah, I think it's like, even though I wasn't laughing the whole time, I was more or less kind of just giving slight chuckles for the most part. Even though I didn't find it to be a laugh riot, I was still enjoying my experience. Like, it's kind of like with Booksmart, even though I didn't really love that movie or really like it, like, and find it all that funny, it's not like I hated my experience.
That's how I felt watching Booksmart too. Totally different topic, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, it's, even though I didn't find it, like a laugh riot, I still was enjoying what I was watching for the most part. And there was only like 2 or 3 parts that I found like, it's like genuinely hilarious. But that's just because, especially in the third act, it just, I don't know, the fucking third act of this film, I feel like it really just, you think the movie does not give a shit, the third act really makes you understand that this film does not give a fuck. And it works and it doesn't work. Like, this is such a conflicting movie, and it's really hard to even give my thoughts and my opinion, because again, this film set out exactly what it wanted to do, and I feel like it succeeded in what it wanted to do. But the problem is, what it wanted to do, was it really good? Was it really enjoyable? I don't know. I mean, I don't blame anybody who walks out of this movie and says that they did not like this movie at all. Like, I don't blame, how could I blame somebody walking out of this movie not liking it? I can't. No, go ahead.
A part of me felt like Jim Jarmusch knew he didn't have a movie. That's why his biggest selling point was like
the big cast.
The big cast involved. And it's like, a part of me was so frustrated. Like, I thought of that scene from Blue Velvet where Dennis Hopper has, like, Kyle MacLachlan, like, has his goons holding Kyle MacLachlan so he can beat the shit out of him. I just wanted to, like, I wanted Jim Jarmusch, like, right in front of me and be like, do you know what a love letter is, fucker? It's a bullet straight from me to your fucking heart. Because I was just so, like, irritated with the film.
Everybody watch Blue Velvet.
Blue Velvet's fantastic.
Right, watch that movie. But I was just so irritated with the film. It's like, why am I fantasizing about kicking the shit out of Jim Jarmusch right now? It's like, this is the first Jim Jarmusch film I've ever seen. And after watching this, I have no plans to watch anything else he's made.
I have plans to watch I Am Love because I heard a lot of great things about that movie.
I even hear good things about this movie called Ghost Dog.
Oh, by the way, I made a mistake. It's not I Am Love. I Am Love is Luca Guadagnino. It's Lonely Lovers Left Alive. I get the two confused because both films have the word love in them and they star Tilda Swinton. So, yeah.
Tilda Swinton's character in this movie, by the way, was hilarious.
I loved her
character so much.
I feel my favorite characters in this movie were Tilda Swinton, Adam Driver.
Yeah, Adam Driver.
And I really like Chloe Savini, but I have a bias, I'll admit.
Yeah, she was like the only like one who like didn't feel like she was like her character did not know that she was in a zombie movie. Like that was the only
she felt
one.
a little bit more grounded to what you would expect in a zombie movie.
Yeah, I think she was like literally the only character that felt like a real character, like experiencing what's happening.
Yeah.
Everyone else just seems in on the fucking joke, and it's just like, yeah, it's another zombie movie, blah blah blah. Like,
yeah, what's interesting is like I feel like most zombie parodies are like love letters. Like I feel like Shaun of the Dead is a love letter, and so is Zombieland, which Shaun of the Dead's better, by the way, obviously.
Shaun of the Dead.
But this movie doesn't feel like a love letter to zombie movies. It feels like a fuck you to zombie movies.
This actually feels like a fuck you to zombie movies, which is and I think that's why I walked away like kind of enjoying it, because it's just the fact that I am not really a huge fan on stuff like that. Like, sure, I'm not saying I hate zombie movies or anything.
I used to hate them. Like, besides Shaun of the Dead, I used to just flat out not like them at all.
Yeah, like I'm not the biggest like zombie fan. I just think it's just super overdone, saturated. Like, I just don't. It's overdone so much. That's why I was like, oh, great, another zombie movie. What do I care? But since it had such a stellar cast, I was like, well, why not? Let's just check it out. And it's kind of funny because it was just, again, it was a movie that's kind of saying fuck the zombie movie genre. And again, I think that's why I walked away kind of enjoying it, because it was just so ridiculous, especially in the third act. It just got really stupid in some parts.
Yeah.
Like insanely stupid, but it was funny for the most part.
Yeah, the absurdity of this movie is what sold it on me, honestly. That's what carried the film for me, is how absurd some scenes were because of how self-aware it was, and I couldn't believe what I was watching. In both a good way and bad way.
I liked Adam Driver's character. Everybody else just felt like they were there. Like, they didn't really leave like much of an impression on me. Like, Tilda Swinton would just pop up and just do weird stuff, and I'm like, okay.
That's almost
that
every
happened.
Character in this movie.
That is every character.
Yeah,
in this
pretty
film,
much. Like, I don't know, like, some of the characters a lot of the characters in this film, like the juveniles, the juvies, they could have been completely cut out of the movie.
Yeah, I feel.
I don't even remember what their characters concluded with. I just remember them like finding a way out, but that's it.
I think that was also maybe intentional, is having absolutely useless characters.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I didn't even try to like justify it. Like, Tom Waits' character, what the fuck? He's useless, basically.
He's there just to speak to the fucking audience.
Yeah, that's
He's
another
like,
thing.
do you get what we're trying to say here? Yeah, you're saying everything that's already been said in every other fucking zombie
Yeah, that's
movie.
another thing. This film takes the most like overdone thematic take of the zombie genre, which is, oh, the theme of it is that we're all zombies, whatever. It's kind of spoilery, but it's not really, because you get the theme like literally within the first 5 minutes of the film, and the film even goes out of its way in the third act to verbally explain every bit of its theme. And it's a theme that's literally in almost every zombie movie. Consumerism, yeah. So this film tackles that.
Yeah, like George A. Romero tackled that. Like,
yeah, George A. That's kind of like way the zombie film even established itself, and went in a way. Like, it's kind of this big metaphor for consumerism, and this film does that same thing. And again, it's like the film doesn't really do anything unique or refreshing to the zombie genre besides completely not giving a fuck. Like, that's really its stick, is that it just does not give a fuck about itself or even the audience, and that's the movie. And you know, I can see people hating it and loving it. I can see people walking out of this movie actually loving it and be like, oh, that was great, I enjoyed my entire experience.
People who love ironic humor, like really ironic humor though.
Yeah.
Which I do. But my problem is, like, it wasn't always like, well, honestly, this movie wasn't like subtle, and it wasn't very
Clever.
Clever. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wish this movie was more subtle and like had more wit to it.
Yeah, that's kind of my issue too. Is it's self-aware, it's careless. That's fine, but that just got a little tiring maybe after a while because it just felt super lazy.
Like all the references, like the references weren't subtle at all. It's like, oh, that car, it's very Romero. It's like, we get it. It looks like the car from Night of the Living Dead. Oh, I think those hipsters are from Pittsburgh. We get it. Night of the Living Dead was filmed in Pittsburgh. So fucking subtle. Here's a hammer. Are you getting it, audience?
The most unsubtle, I mean, I guess I won't like spoil the scene, but going back to that consumerist angle, there was a scene where there was no room for interpretation. Like, this is like spoon feeding you like what's going on.
Yeah. Like,
I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. It was a scene in the third act where
definitely.
the zombies were doing something that obviously made it clear that that's what the film was going for.
Oh yeah, and like they would cut away from characters, and then when they'd cut back to them, they'd just be like surrounded by zombies or barricaded. Wouldn't even tell you like how this happened, like how they got surrounded or anything like that. It's just like, this is the scene now. You enjoy it. Oh, these characters got eaten. You didn't give a fuck about any of the characters. It came to a point where it's like you didn't care what was going on in the film at all.
The caveat to that is I feel like that's the joke. I'm not saying it's brilliant. I don't think this movie is brilliant.
That totally is the joke,
but it's the joke.
But there are characters in the other zombie movies that you actually care for. Like when I watch Night of the Living Dead, I actually care about the protagonist who's African American.
Yeah, because that's a real film that tries and does what it. This film, I don't think this film is trying. Like,
but at least give me one character I can get invested in. And it's like, I feel like I didn't have that. Like, I did like Adam Driver, but I didn't wasn't invested in enough to make me care about the story progression.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't feel like this film tried to make you care, and I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. Really, it's just what the film set out to do.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, if you're totally on board with what this film sets out to do, then you're gonna fucking love it because it does what it sets out to do perfectly. But if you're not, which most people aren't going to be because most films try, then you're not gonna really enjoy it.
One thing I wanted to bring it up, did anybody else all feel like this that the film wasn't genuinely filmed during nighttime? Like, it could be the fact that there was a full moon kind of thing happening, but I feel like a lot of scenes might have not been filmed at night.
Yeah.
They were probably filmed during the daylight, and the coloring was added artificially to make it seem like it was nighttime.
Yeah, I
can see that.
Yeah, so I thought that was just another layer of just extra irony, I guess, or something.
And there was something at the beginning, the whole thing is the ice caps have separated and whatnot, and it's messed with the Earth's rotation, and days may last longer.
They explained that 4 different times in the movie.
It almost felt like a Funny Games moment to me. You know how they're trying to make all these dumbass excuses for why the movie's happening.
Yeah.
I feel like it was almost a self-aware moment like that. It's just oh, this is the backstory. Yeah. Who gives a shit? This is just why it's happening.
And it's so obvious too.
Yeah.
I love in the first act, it shows the diagram of the Earth and has 5 arrows pointing to the polar ice caps.
One joke that I actually did find funny, because it was just poking fun of another trope, is that every time a TV was on, it would just completely start cutting out. But it would never completely cut out. It would just have those static shots because that's what every zombie movie has.
Yeah, and it's literally the most cliche looking glitch.
Yeah.
Obviously it's a fake edited glitch every single time they do it. And
it was both stupid and just kind of...
Yeah, I honestly don't see anybody except for people who know exactly what they're getting into going into this enjoying it. Because I can't see any casual moviegoer enjoying this movie, period. I just can't. I don't see what they would get out of it.
They would either be confused or just furious because nothing is really happening, and they might think it's lame.
Yeah. Well, anything else you want to talk about, or is that about it?
I think I've had it with this movie, honestly.
You've had it, man.
I can understand that. I honestly can. I can get why people don't like this film.
Yeah, I completely get it. It's a real... I don't want to say that it's lazy, but it's kind of lazy, man. It's a film that... It's like Jim Jarmusch was I'm going to make the most careless movie with the most smallest amount of effort for a joke and a gimmick on what I feel about the zombie genre, which is that it's just overdone and tired, and I'm about to troll everybody who came to watch this movie to go see a genuine zombie movie.
But it's not even like fun troll humor. Like there are other like troll humor movies out there. Like I was just talking about Freddy Got Fingered, which objectively is even worse than this movie. But at least it's fun. At least it's enjoyable for how like insane and how insane it is.
Yeah, the movie's over the top, and there's just like crazy shit that's happening.
Yeah, but it's
constantly.
Constantly.
Yeah, it's constantly.
This film's just really dry, really lifeless.
And it's the point, but still,
Yeah.
it can only go so far, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, alright. I think that's all we gotta say, right?
Yeah.
I don't feel
finished.
strongly about this movie.
Alright, well, obviously, like I said, it was very one note, but I kind of enjoyed my experience watching it because I felt it was just something that I really haven't seen before. There are some moments in this film where the comedy really worked and I was dying of laughter, but most of this film, it's kind of just like chuckles to some small laughter in between, and some jokes you just don't laugh at because I don't even know if they're even meant to be funny. A lot of these jokes are just...
Yeah.
I'm not gonna laugh because obviously it was meant to be so unfunny, but this film was just such a weird, conflicting movie for me. I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I understand that it's not really a good movie because it's just really lazy and careless sometimes. I honestly, as a whole, not sometimes, as a fucking whole, this movie is careless. But I still somewhat enjoyed watching it, so I'll give The Dead Don't Die a 6 out of 10. I'll give it a fucking fresh rating, but I don't necessarily recommend everybody to see this. I only recommend people who know what they're getting into to go watch this film and see what you get out of it.
Yeah, I feel pretty similarly to Carlos. This was a really conflicting movie for me, but it's not one of the best movies, it's not one of the worst movies I've seen. Definitely one of the most, I feel like it's going to be memorable, like it's going to stick out to me, like that was weird. That was a weird movie experience, but overall, I would give it a 6 out of 10 as well. It's, I don't know if I really recommend it. I guess I recommend it if you just want to try something new, I guess. But most people walking into it without the expected irony that this film portrays, then you're probably not gonna like it very much.
Hipsters and their irony.
Actual line from the film. Yep.
I think they're from Pittsburgh. I would have guessed Ohio. Anyways, I don't recommend this film to anybody. If you want to watch a zombie movie, just watch any other zombie movie besides this one.
I would much recommend, if you want to actually watch a good zombie spoof movie, just watch Shaun of the Dead, but I'm sure you've already seen that film
It's
already.
the golden standard, honestly.
Yeah.
Either that or Zombieland. But
Zombieland's fine too.
Shaun of the Dead, way
is the
more
gold
than
standard.
Zombieland. I'm going to give this film a 3 out of 10. And I hate to be the negative Nancy, but...
That's okay.
No, I get it. I get it. I mean, I didn't think you were gonna hate it this much, but it's reasonable. I don't blame anybody for really not liking this film.
I honestly didn't think I was gonna hate a film like more than Beach Bum, but this year, man, I've seen a few of them. That's like, God, this
Serenity.
This year hasn't been too great for film, honestly. Like, Climax is like a fucking masterpiece. Under the Silver Lake was great, and High Life was great, but everything after that is just like
Everything else,
okay.
yeah. Like the top. Well, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like Don Quixote quite a bit, but it's not a breathtaking film or anything. So,
Dude, it's weird because I've only seen like 25 movies this year, so Us is still in my top 10.
Us is in my top 10 somehow.
It's my
too.
number 10.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I think it might be like my number 8 or some shit.
I don't think it's in my top 10.
Oh shit, really?
Mine is. I won't take too long. I'm lying. Us is my number 10.
Oh, so y'all got the same number 10?
Yeah. So I'm
interesting.
hopefully I can watch a really good movie that pushes Us out of the top 10.
By the way, I'm currently on episode 2 of Nicholas Winding Refn's Too Old to Die Young series on Amazon Prime. and holy shit, do I have a lot to say about it once I'm finally done. But it's gonna be a while because it's like 13 hours worth of material, and I'm only like 3 hours in. So I'm gonna try to finish it next week so I can have a review up for the entire series by the weekend. But be on the lookout for that because I'm gonna be really excited to talk to you guys about that. Also, Toy Story 4 coming up next week, right?
Yep.
Next week?
Yep.
We're watching on Thursday.
Yep. So Toy Story 4
Holy
review
shit.
should be out next Thursday, so check that out. And also, Midsommar's coming up, and I'm super
Ooh,
stoked
hell
for that.
yeah. I'm gonna have a lot to say about that movie.
Honestly, that again, like I can't stress enough. It's probably my most anticipated film of the year, besides The Lighthouse, maybe.
I feel the same, yeah. Actually.
But Midsommar is way up there, so that's gonna be a fun review. But yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for clicking on this video, hearing what we had to say about the newest zombie spoof movie, if you want to really call it that, called The Dead Don't Die. I was about to say Too Old to Die Young, but
If you want to call it a movie.
yeah, if you want to call it a fucking movie, but yeah.
Right.
Sturgill Simpson.
I love this song. It's a good song. Alright, so if you really like what we had to say about The Dead Don't Die, please give us a like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more film-related content.